Hey everyone, Miss Raymond here today to explain a little activity to you. So it's a gene expression and protein synthesis activity, so let's get into it. So I'm just going to share my screen with you guys to show you the intro to this. So let me just play this. All right, so our activity today is called Mystery Monsters, and like I said, it's a gene expression activity. So before we get started, you should have a bit of background knowledge, and I can post these slides as kind of like a review for you guys because I have kind of a few terms laid out. So first, most generally the central dogma, so you should know a bit about DNA replication, you should know about transcription, and you should also know about translation, and kind of everything that goes into these processes. Next, we have just like the different parts of protein synthesis and transcription, translation, and all that. So for example, what is a codon, anticodon, mRNA that is formed in transcription, tRNA that is used in translation, and all that. I have a little image here if you guys need to, again, review these terms. And then finally, I just have a list here of the different types of mutations. This part is a bit less important. I just wanted to put this here because at the end of this assignment, there are a couple questions that have to do with mutations. So it's good to have kind of just like a solid background knowledge on mutations and the different types. But yeah. Okay, so today's activity, what you will be doing, so you will be determining the traits or characteristics of a mystery organism. You will determine which proteins must be made to produce your mystery organism by stimulating the process of protein synthesis. Your mystery organism belongs to the animal kingdom. It is made up of 6 different genes. Each of these genes is responsible for a particular trait. So I know that's a lot of information thrown at you all at once. You guys will see the handout on the next slide, and I'll explain it a bit further, but basically you're going to be taking the genes of a mystery organism, you're going to take the DNA, you're going to transcribe the DNA, then you're going to translate it and form the proteins, and then it'll form your organism essentially. So the purpose is to see how the genes on the chromosome determine the characteristics of the organism, and also to stimulate transcription and translation from a DNA template. Okay, so this is what you should see on your worksheet. So basically you start off with DNA strands. So you have 6 different ones, right? 6 genes, A to F. So your first step would be to change your DNA into mRNA, and then from mRNA to tRNA. And then finally, you should have your amino acid sequence, which corresponds to this chart here on your paper. So for example, you can see here you have 3 codons, which means your amino acid sequence should have 3 proteins. And then you can see here on the list, okay, proline, alanine, and alanine at the bottom here, so that's 3 proteins. And then it says the trait that would code, or that would code for. You'll notice too that some of them have 3, some of them have 2, this one has 2, this one has 3 again, this one has 4 this time, and then this one has 3. So if we switch back to this one, I think the only one with 4 is the second one here. So proline, serine, phenylalanine, and glycine for yellow eyes. So just, I guess, kind of giving you a hint there. So you're going to be figuring out these traits over time. Another thing that you could do if you want to, you don't have to, but you could switch some of these traits, okay? If you want to make your own unique mystery organism, because you guys are going to end up having pretty similar organisms if you follow like kind of the template I have here, which is totally okay. The main point of the activity is to kind of simulate protein synthesis. But if you want, if I were you, I wouldn't change like that it's part of the head, but I would change maybe the descriptor. So here for yellow eyes, if you want, you can switch that to orange eyes, and then at the end you might actually end up getting your specific trait. So it's up to you. If you want to leave the traits, that's fine. If you feel like it'll take too long as a class to just switch out all the traits, then definitely just jump into it. It's totally unnecessary. But for the more artsy people out there who might want to do a more unique one, that's totally okay. All right, and at the very end, you draw your mystery monster. So it should look something kind of like this. Like I said, it kind of has like a general body shape. It'll have ears, eyes, nose, and mouth. So if we go back to the traits here, you'll see that all represented here. And yeah, based off your 6 traits here, you will eventually get to the point where you can draw your mystery organism. And that is the end. So quickly before I finish this off, I just want to show you guys where you're going to be filling in this information. So you guys are actually going to be doing it in a Google Slide document. So there's a bit of an introduction here. You guys will read through the introduction, purpose, materials, but then this is the part you actually fill out. So here I already did it for ACC. I switched it to the mRNA UGG. But yeah, you literally just type in here, you do your mRNA, then you can do your tRNA and so on. Yeah, you can just type right in here. Next thing that I wanted to mention is they give you a codon table here. This is the same as like a codon chart like this, and I highly recommend actually that you just use a regular codon chart that you find on Google, because I find this one can be a bit confusing. Like I was trying to use it and I don't know, it's just a lot quicker to use a codon chart like this, so I highly recommend that, just kind of scrapping this part. And then yeah, here are the traits, just like I showed you in the presentation. So the last part would be that there's some analysis questions at the end. And ideally, I do want you guys to answer these questions if there's time. I know that there might not be time, and that's completely okay if that's the case. But they're also just really good review questions overall for like unit tests and stuff. So even if you don't finish it in class, it might be useful to finish it as like a review. And then finally at the end here, you build your organisms. You can literally drag and drop like the body into the box if it'll go. And yeah, just literally build your organism in the middle here. So this is what you'd be doing if you didn't switch the traits. If you did decide to switch the traits and you're making your own unique organism, you can also just draw it on a piece of paper and send it as a picture as well. I really don't mind if you do it that way. Even if you don't switch the traits out, if you'd rather do it drawn on a piece of paper, that's totally okay. So whatever way works for you. So that's going to be the end of the explanation. You guys will start the activity now. I really hope that it goes well. I hope you guys enjoy it. For the ones that might be switching out the traits, I hope that you have fun with the artistic kind of aspect of it, kind of just like creating organisms. So yeah, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks from now, and enjoy your activity.